Hi, my name is Annaline, and today is my second video in my series about the men on the money. Why are they on the money and what is their story? So today we are going to focus on the guy on the $100 bill, Benjamin Franklin. It is his birthday today. He was born in Boston, a little bit north of New York. As a teenager, he moved to Philadelphia, and he's very famous for being a writer, inventor, printer, and statesman. And today I'm going to focus on his printing and statesmanship. So when you look at the money, on the left, we have George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, and then Benjamin Franklin. All four of them very important in the creation of the United States as we know it today. And today, Benjamin Franklin's birthday. The Declaration of Independence was actually signed in Philadelphia, where Benjamin Franklin was a resident. And Thomas Jefferson drafted the Declaration of Independence. And when he drafted the Declaration of Independence, that really meant that America, as we know it today, was at war with Britain. So Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, both on the money, they have in common that they signed the Declaration of Independence. So then, during the Revolutionary War, George Washington, he was the man in the field leading the American troops in the physical fight against Britain. Benjamin Franklin, on the other hand, was an ambassador in Paris, France, and he was busy raising money. War in those days, just like today, was not cheap, and Franklin was there in the very important job of raising money to fight the Revolutionary War. So at the end of the Revolutionary War, both Jefferson and Franklin were ambassadors in France. And Franklin was very important in negotiating the peace treaty. Thomas Jefferson probably would have signed it, but he was in prison in London. So during the 1780s, they drafted the US Constitution, and George Washington was then inaugurated on Wall Street. And in his cabinet, three of the men on the money, but Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury. So, what does Hamilton have in common with Benjamin Franklin? They are the only two people on the money that was not presidents of the United States. So Benjamin Franklin was a printer and he printed a lot of money. So as you can see on my slide, the currency of the 1700s much different than what it is today. In those days, states and banks printed their own money. There were no standards as and counterfeiting measures as we know it today. So it was really easy to counterfeit money. You could actually even produce your own money and no one would really know if this is real or counterfeiting. And all the issues around that deserve a video on its own. But as a printer, Franklin printed the money of many of the different states and he experimented with counterfeiting. So when you have a bill today, it is printed on both sides, but during the 1700s, only on the front. So Franklin put like a leaf on the printing press so that it would print a lot of detail on the paper, making it much harder to counterfeit. So this is the early money. And today, when you look at the money on the left, the $1 and the $2 bill has almost no counterfeiting measures. But when you look at Benjamin Franklin, one of the most expensive bills to produce and one of the most secure bills in the United States. So when you touch a Franklin, you will feel money feels different than the paper in your notebook. And one of the most important features of money is the paper on which it is printed. This was not an option for Franklin, but he was key in producing the early counterfeiting measures, leading eventually to the money as we have it today. Franklin was a very avid writer, and many of his quotes has to do with money. So he was also really frugal. And one of his most famous quotes, I'd rather go to bed without dinner than rise in debt. It's something that I want to just remind all of us with the inflation being so high, we have to think about our money and all the credit card interest that we are carrying on our credit cards. And then one of my favorites, I am early to bed and early to rise. But Franklin said that makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So next time when you spend a Franklin, give a thought to Benjamin and all the things that he invented and that we enjoy today.